In this setting, we're going to talk about a woman loving her husband so much she was willing to do anything for him, including bringing him back from the dead. But let me ask you something. If you had a choice, would you bring your lover back, or would you leave them where they are? Answer in the comments below. Love to death. Life was great for me. I didn't have a care in the world. I had a big house on the hill with a husband to share it with. He was an aspiring author, writing incredible novels which paid the bills. Although he was sick with a terminal illness, he still managed to make enough money to where we could live comfortably. Sometimes he would get very sick to the point that he could not get out of bed. But I loved and cared for him. Despite his illness, the bills were paid, mortgage was affordable, and I had 5 acres of land all to myself. Neighbors seemed as if they were miles away, and I didn't have a care or concern in the world. Me and my husband had been married only 1 year, so we were at a stage where we were lovesick puppies, playing and rolling around with no roadblocks. I had an aunt that was a spirit medium that I would work for part-time at our shop called Curious Curiosities, which I thought did a match for spirit talk and seances. I would clean the shop and also assist her in her card reading, crystal ball stuff, but she had a specific demonic book locked in the back room that she would never let me see or enter. One morning, I built the courage to ask her about the book. She cut her eyes at me in disappointment.
Look, child, the demonic and the cult is not for the weak-minded. Like, you must never touch the Book of the Dead.
I thought it was truly interesting, and I decided when we closed shop, I'd take a peek. It was 11 and no more customers were coming in, so I began to clean up. My aunt received an urgent phone call, judging by her tone. I ran as fast as I could, grabbed the key. I opened the door and a haze of fog exited the small room like a basketball tall player was coming out. I didn't have time to mingle with it, so I stuffed it in my bag, shut the door, and locked it back. I resumed my cleaning.
Foolish people. They think my work is easy.
My aunt scorned.
Are you finished?
She said. I nodded, and in her frustration, she locked up and we went home. As I drove home with the book in the back, I couldn't help but to feel like a dirty thief. I was taking the dark wooded road that led to my house when I heard a voice.
Help me,
it said. I yelled in fear as the voice came from my back seat.
Open,
it said as I began to slow down. I eventually pulled over. The sky and the woods were as dark as tar, and chill ran up my spine. I felt like I was in a blast freezer. What do you want? I said. The voice replied.
Your husband is dying.
You lie, you piece of trash. I can't believe I was arguing with the book over my husband, who was fine when I left home. At that moment, the book began to glow in my bag. I pulled the book out of the bag and it changed. Each corner grew horns. The skin on the book was reptilian. I was warm to the touch as a small, putrid eye opened and looked at me. I leaped out of the car as my phone rang. It was my aunt. I answered it knowing that what she wanted.
Where's my book, you fool?
She snarled. I stammered.
You have damned us all. You must place the book back in the altar. Now. Don't listen to anything it says.
I okayed her, and I would bring the book back immediately.
She lies.
The book said.
I can help you.
It was strange because I didn't need any help. And as I sat in the driver's seat in the car, I closed my eyes. I saw a vision of my bedroom and my husband dead. In a panic, I drove home as fast as I could. Babe! Babe! I yelled across the house to no answer. I got to my room to see my husband just like the vision. He was cold to the touch. I cried and I cried. The one and only man I had ever loved was dead. My life was over. Nothing meant anything anymore. I dragged myself to the car only to hear the book once more.
Wish for it.
The book said.
Wish for it and I can bring him back. No more disease.
I began driving back to the shop as the book continued its plea. Shut up, you damned book, I said. It was driving me mad. Its words of poison was affecting every portion of my thoughts. I pulled up to the shop, and as I sat in the car, I saw the light on. It was my aunt, probably with a warm welcome. As my eyes closed, I saw my husband once more. He had his hand out.
Babe, help me. I hate it here,
he said. I have to do something. Book, I said. Just bring my husband back. I want us to be with him. Please, please.
Done.
said the book. As I handed it to my aunt, she slapped me as hard as her wrinkly arm could muster.
Get out and never return,
she said. I hopped in the car and headed home, forgetting what I asked that cursed book. When I got home, the lights were all out. Couldn't have been a power outage. This was strange. Inside was cold and dark. I heard the floor creak above me. Something wasn't right. I slowly tiptoed to the staircase. The walls were in what was black spiderweb-looking mold. This black substance began to make a squelching sound. As I advanced the final step, I had to do it. I had to go inside my room. I had to see my husband. For some reason, trusting that the book may not be the smartest idea. I guess love truly is blind. I opened the door, and to my horror, my husband was alive. And he was hanging on the wall as if on a crucifix. His eyes opened as red as fire, vile and evil. He said something to me in a demonic voice. I couldn't make it out. Sounded like Latin. I approached him and touched his face. He then grabbed my throat and held me in the air. Spider-like limbs protruding from his back. His mouth open from sides and top, showing dozens of teeth. This is it. So this is how I die, at the hand of my lover. At that moment, a sharp pain in my back raises me into the air. I can't feel my legs. I want to scream, but I can't. It hurts so bad. And in that moment, my aunt kicks in the door with a strange blade in her hand. The creature drops me and lunges for my aunt. As she impales the creature, it dissolved into nothing and died. I laid on the floor, unable to move. The last thing I see is my aunt standing over me. It's been 6 months. I have been paralyzed and stuck in a wheelchair. As my aunt packed her things, she looked at me with disappointment, but also confidence.
Child, when you took the book, you also took the curse. Now you must live the rest of your days guarding the book. I taught you everything I know to run the shop, so it's yours. The book will haunt you with lies and visions to the point of death, but you must resist, child. The book is immortal, so another must be chosen before you die, and you will know what to do. Farewell.
So saddening. Well, that's the end of that story. If you like what you hear and you want more content, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and comment below what you want to hear. I also do ASMR, so if there's anything that you want, let me know. And I'll be happy to oblige. Also, I have another person. His name is Jrome. He'll also be, adding into it.